Hi guys, it's Cindy Leach, your polymer clay tutor. In today's PCT product demo, I'm going to be showing you some little funky tools from Little Funky Flames on Etsy. Now I want to tell you a neat little story. A little while ago I did a video about the Miniature Enchanted Rose. And in the video I explained how I used a little tiny section of straw to cut out small circles and then for making the rose petals. Well, one of our viewers, and her name is Plamena Ivanova, she saw that she saw this video and she said, you know, I've been watching your videos for years and I would love to give you a little present. I have these little tools that will cut out perfect tiny circles much better than your straw. So I said, okay, that's very sweet of you. And she sent them to me and she said, now you don't have to give me any publicity or anything. I just wanted to send them to you for a present for all the videos that you've done over the years. And so, but then when she sent this little box of tools, I just had to share it with you because it's such a great little set. All right, so here's what she sent in this little package here. She is from Bulgaria, Sofia, Bulgaria. And it was neat to see that her writing on the packaging was all fancy and lovely. And in the package was this neat little box with a whole bunch of cutters in it. And it's got a nice little magnetic closure on it so that it stays shut. And it's divided into a bunch of different sections. Now she gave me all of the different cutters that she has. So you can buy different size sets and things like that. But she gave me the round set, which I have in this little section here. And has just absolutely tons of these little cutters from like 1 millimeter, which I'll show you right here. This little one is 1 millimeter in diameter, all the way up to 9 millimeters, and all the sizes in between. Then this section here has oval cutters in it. And they go from like 10 millimeters to 1.5 millimeters or something like that. I'd have to look up the number again. And then these ones are all teardrop shapes. And so they're great little cutters. I think that these little parts are from like some sort of like audio manufacturing or something, but because I've seen them around before, people have been using them for clay. But it's really nice that she's put together this neat little set and shaped the cutters in a bunch of different ways. Oh, and it also came with a, here I've got it stuck in the lid here. It came with a little bamboo skewer type thing, and then she said you can use it as a holder for some of these smaller ones. And then you can use it to punch like that. Now, this one, actually I'll just give you a neat little tip if you end up getting this. This this bamboo skewer was a little longer. I just figured out that the lid here, that this little holder would fit right inside the lid if I just snipped off the end. And I snipped it off so that it would be quite tight fitting in there. And it still clearance-wise fits in the box. So that's what I did, and that's what I'd recommend you doing so you don't lose your little holder. And then another little pointer on that as well. The tiniest little guy here, this 1 millimeter circle cutter, it's really small and the clay does get stuck in it. So I've just got a bead piercing pin here and I just use the flat end and I just use it to poke it out, any clay that might be stuck in there. And so I also just keep that in the box. So I just keep it sitting underneath this stick. If I just set it in there and keep it, I can keep it trapped in there. So I just thought I'd pass that along because it's a nice little, it's handy. Anyways, let me just show you how they work and some of the things that I ended up making with it. I started playing around with it. And most of you would assume that, you know, you would use these just for cutting out holes and stuff, and they cut out beautiful, nice, clean holes. Here's the biggest one here. And I've noticed if your clay is warm and it's stuck to a glass tile, it usually stays stuck to the glass instead of coming off inside. And then here's the littlest one. It'll do just tiny little holes. But the little one always collects the clay, it just doesn't come out. But there we can punch holes. We can use these cutouts for all sorts of cool things. And here's a couple of things that I ended up doing. I made a sheet of polka dotted clay to put on top of this cute little poisonous mushroom. Actually, I've made this into a stick pin so it could stick into like a cork board, a pin cushion, even like a little display, a fairy garden, whatever you want. But when you go to make, if you're going to make something polka dotted, for example, cutting out little circles like this and sticking them onto something, it's nice to do, but it's even cooler if you can actually make the whole sheet polka dotted and to quite a bit of a depth. If you just put something on the surface, what happens is it's difficult to sand because you'll end up sanding away the surface. But if you make the whole sheet into a polka dotted sheet, so here I've cut out some white circles with this little cutter here. I don't know the size, I'd have to measure it. And then I've done the same with the red ones here, and I'll just pull these off so you can see them. They're all cut there. Oops. It's way too warm in here. Oh, that's too funny. Okay, it's way too warm. It's gotten super hot. It's summertime now, and I'm just baking in here. Anyways, let's take these and lift them off. I was going to put white ones inside the red one, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it the other way around. What you can do is you can take these little circles that you cut out and just pop them into the holes like that. And then what happens is your sheet has the polka, it's not just on the surface anymore, it's embedded in there. So the sheet has, you can sand it back and you're not going to be removing any, the polka dot itself. And that's really handy when you're working with two colors like red and white together, because surely by the time you've got your little mushroom made into any kind of shape, you're definitely going to get the white bleeding onto the red and the red bleeding onto the white, and it's going to look very messy on the top surface. So being able to sand it after and get right down to that pure clay underneath is a great advantage. Another neat little thing you can do is cut out the shapes to make really simple little leaves. And I thought I would show you how to make these leaves. I used the teardrop shape here. And I did a, let's just do this here. I made a really skinny little teardrop blend. And if you haven't done that before, I do have a video on it. And to make the blend, I just used a small little pinch of, or little, you know, about the size of a gumball of bright green pearl, Primo bright green pearl, Primo peacock pearl, and Primo, what is that one? It is wisteria, or no, it's periwinkle. And this one I've used a little bit less of it. I did the teardrop blend and ended up with a skinny little blend that looks just like this. So it's kind of sparkly and it shifts from the blue, from the green to the blue to the darker kind of purple there. Then I cut out a whole bunch of little shapes with this little teardrop shape cutter. Then I've got a piece of plastic wrap. This actually happens to be the plastic wrap called Glad Press and Seal. The thing about the press and seal is it's got these little pieces of, it's a little bit textured, something on it that makes it stick together nicely. It leaves kind of a cool impression on it, and it's quite stiff. So if you cut through that, you get these textured pieces, but they're rounded off on the top. So I'm just going to cut a few of these off and then peel back the plastic, and you will see. So I'm just going to cut along here, and I would cut out as many as I wanted to. And the press and seal is kind of tougher than the regular plastic wrap. And you can see you get these lovely little domed shapes. Then what I'll do is I'll show you how to turn those into leaves. Now you can keep cutting out the whole thing. You can actually, I don't know if you know this, and I believe I have a video on it somewhere, you can actually keep using this Skinner blend even with the holes in it, just by folding it over like that and keeping the colors where they're supposed to be, and then just pushing it together so you don't have the holes, and then you can keep running that through the passive machine and you have another blend again. All right, so let's take a look at this little tiny leaf. Well, it's not a leaf yet, but we're going to make it into a leaf. And I'm just going to use a bone folder. And the bone folder has this kind of nice sharp edge on it, but it's tapered out and rounded out. So it's got a bunch of different versions of them depending on where you want to look on the tool. But we're just going to take this and press a little vein down the center. Oops, I did that crooked there. And you get this really lovely little leaf. Now you can just take the tip and make some little veins in it. Like that. Hopefully I have the right angle here. And see what a cute little leaf you have? You can pinch it up at the top here, bend it back a little bit so it has a nice shape. And then, rather than worrying about drilling a hole in it later, which I usually do, you can actually use this tiny, tiny little cutter. I'm going to need that little wire to pop out the red clay from there. So we're going to pop out the red clay from the end. And I'm just going to use this little tiny 1 millimeter cutter and cut a little hole in the top. And it'll be perfectly clean. I can bake these all on my sheet, and I've got some neat little leaves. And done in the blend like that, you can have this pretty gradation kind of ombre thing going on. You could make them in a bunch of different sizes. You could make them a little thinner if you wanted them more delicate, but these look really neat. And I kind of just chained them together with little jump rings. Whoops, jumped right off of there. All right, like that. Now, actually, using these same little teardrops, I stacked them in a different way, and I made these little earrings that kind of look like a little mermaid tail. So basically what I did with those, hopefully I have enough of them here, maybe I'll have to make a smaller one. I put, on those ones I put 4 on the bottom, but we'll just put 3 on the bottom on this one so that I can show you how I did it. So you butt them up next to each other in a row. And then the next 2, you put in the spaces in between there. And you just set it right here and let that tip go down to the surface so it tapers down like that. Take another one. Like that. And these all kind of end up fitting together quite nicely. And then the last one fits in right at the top. Like that. Now you have this nice little tail. Now I would have, if I had a whole bunch of different ones, I would have cut them a little bit. I mean, I would have stacked them with the colors that are a little bit more alternating so that you would have more depth in the rows there. But this still looks lovely, so. Then I'm just going to check to make sure that it's all kind of in a triangular shape. And then I'm going to press them all together using this cloth or this wrap over top. Just kind of press them together, make sure they're tapered down like that. And that's it. You can bake that. You got a neat little dangle that looks cool on that side. And cool on the other side. Oop, let me get my fingers out of the way there. It's sticky today. Okay, so there you go. All right, so I thought I would share with you that neat little kit. Now Plamena, she sells them on Etsy at Little Funky Tools or Little Funky Flames on Etsy. Actually, I'll just show you her website here. And she's got the round sets, the teardrop shapes and oval sets, and she does free shipping worldwide, which I thought was really nice. And you can get different size sets, and they're somewhere between $20 and $30 for the different sets. All right, Thank you so much, Plamena, for sending those to me. It was a very sweet thing to do. And I appreciate you being a viewer for so long like that. And also, if you like this video, do let us know. And if you've got suggestions for products you'd like me to test, techniques that you would like to learn more about, and anything else related to polymer clay, leave those in the comment section below. All right, so we'll see you next time, and bye for now.